Hey everybody, Warren and Julie. We are actually going to be talking to a wonderful couple that are living in Albania. They have residency there, and they're Americans, retired, and they're living on an astronomically low price. So at this point, we're going to bring you over to Durres Albania, and we're going to introduce you to Deborah and James. Deborah and James, hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello. We're so glad to spend this time with you and to talk about our beloved Albania. We love being here. We've been here 4 years. We came from Bloomington, Indiana, and we found it to be the people here are so friendly and welcoming. They especially like Americans because America has helped them during the Kosovo-Serbia war, and they've also helped them in other situations very much over the years, over many presidents. So they really love Americans, and uh, and we love Albania because of the beauty of the place.
Yeah.
Wow, you go, an hour here and 2 hours there, and everything. The landscapes are so much variety. You have the only wild river in Europe here. It's a different color than what you've experienced water to be.
The Vjosa River is turquoise
Yeah,
colored,
gorgeous.
and there's a lot of history here too. We went to this place. It translates from Albanian into Horses Hill, and you overlook. I think it's maybe 400 feet. You look down, and you're going to see basic apartments and things like that. But that is the place where Pompey and Julius Caesar had this enormous battle right down there. And then within walking distance in our village, there is a Byzantine ruin of a church. So history is everywhere in this country. They have several UN designated places that are ancient, like Butrint, for example, and Apollonia, where it shows you Greek culture. The area is very ancient. The Illyrian language, or the Illyrian people rather, they are, well, they've been here for a long time. Let's just say 3,000 years.
Yeah.
And we like this idea they have what they call Besa. Besa means protection. They have this ethic. Whoever is uh, uh, someone that's innocent and then people are coming after them, it doesn't matter what's an army, they have to get through that person because they came to their house for safety.
Yeah, it's a rule of it's something specific to Albania where people have this ethic of Besa, which is in a way hospitality. And they took in the Jewish people during the Nazi occupation and they hid them. And there's many YouTubes you can watch about that and the protection. There were more Jews at the end of the war in Albania than there were
At the
at
beginning,
at the beginning.
yeah, Albert Einstein came through here.
Albert Einstein came through
Yeah,
here.
King Zog, he just wore his hand out writing visas, and just get these people the safety.
I would like to emphasize is that Hollywood does a very big disservice to Albania, the Albanian people. You find them being portrayed as the villains or the Albanian mafia. They have so many
Yeah,
negatives, and I don't know why, because the Albanians really are they like Americans, and I feel very safe. The times we've been in Saranda, I had no issues. We drove all through the country. And so I think people, unfortunately, especially in America, maybe are very uneducated on life in Albania. And
yeah.
so it's very interesting for them to be able to see that you two are living there. And there's other expats in the Durres area as well, correct? You were sharing with us that there's an growing expat community there.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
The other thing about Albania, as far as it goes with the way people are looking at the Albanians, it's similar to the way the Italians were looked at, like everybody's in the mafia because you must be mafia, you have an Italian name, or you must be a drunk because you're Irish. You know, it's stereotypes. Your chances of running into anything like that is like slim to none.
And women feel safe walking here at any time of the day or night.
Yeah, we don't have that. We don't have the same kind of issues that you'd have in the United States. The crime rate is mostly petty crimes. If you're a person that just has a habit of getting in trouble, I guess you'll find a way to do it. But this is usually everybody sort of keeps to themselves here, minds their own business. That's an ethic also. I mean, they're friendly and all this, but you live in a neighborhood, like my friend Ulti says, yeah, you know, you just mind your own business. Everybody just you know, they have a good relationship with you. You know, instead of, oh, you parked right in front of my whatever, and giving them, you know, a lecture and all this, it doesn't work very well.
When you guys went to Albania and you ended up buying a home there, and you have no desire at this point to be going anywhere, you've been there for 4 years. So you have been able to find your I guess assimilate to an extent into Albania, making friends there, and your homeowners. Can you talk a little bit about how you feel assimilated in, but also about your home buying experience, and you know, what kind of property costs do people experience currently to find a home in Albania at this moment?
It's according to what you're looking at, what you're looking for. We just settled for the price that we paid. There are places where you can go where the real estate is very high. Like in Saranda, some of the areas are kind of exclusive, and you know, you can pay a lot of money for that. But prices are rising here. But you can still buy an apartment for under 40,000
Wow.
in the area.
That's a
40,000
habitable
euro.
apartment.
What's that?
That's a
Yes.
habitable
Yes.
apartment,
Yes.
not a
Absolutely.
fixer-upper.
Nope, not necessarily. Sometimes they are fixer-uppers, but we had one on the market for I think 37,000, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you could just move right in. It had furniture in it. It came with it. So this
Now,
house came with furniture.
now Americans can be there 12 months basically without having to get a visa. Um, and so you can actually go in there and decide to rent. You don't need to necessarily buy a place. But you guys have residency. So you did the
Yeah.
official residency. And
If you want to do residency and make it go more smoothly, buying property, finding an Albanian bank that will take your uh, give you an account, sure is a big help. Otherwise, and if you're going to stay, you need to let the authorities know maybe a couple months after you've been there, and say, you know, we really like it here, and we found a place, etc. And you go through all the paperwork, and then the paperwork is, you know, there's volumes of it, and it's, if you're going to do it, you do it early rather than wait until just about it's time to leave, because your you know, time is over. So it's good if you, like, the first couple months, you let them know about your intentions, and then yeah, it is a process. You do have to have so much in a bank, in an Albanian bank, um, and owning property or a business. If you have a business, then you can get a different deal altogether.
You can have residency,
Yeah.
and you can have residency if you buy a property, if you buy a house or apartment. So the residency is for 5 years, and you have to put in a certain amount into the bank. 4 years ago, we had to put in $3,000.
Yeah, I think it was
between the
3,000
two of
euro.
us altogether. Only 3,000.
Because the minimum wage here was about 320 euros a month at that time. It's more now. So I don't know what it is, but I guarantee you, it's not, probably not an increased amount that makes it out of people's ballpark.
So having residency means you can stay 5 years, but you can also renew it very easily. And then you also get free medical. But I'll tell you, a lot of Albanians will tell us that the medical, if you're in a serious condition, you might want to pay for private hospital.
Yeah.
And but if you go to the public hospitals for just normal emergencies, it works very well, and you get it for free.
Yeah, I've had. Go ahead.
I was going to bring up here that a lot of our viewers already know this, but I'm a licensed agent, and I have helped about 300 expats and travelers with their international medical needs. So if you're looking for international healthcare insurance, please go to warrenjulietravel.com or email me at warrenjulietravel@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to work a quote for you. But you do get the healthcare with Albania Residency, which is great. So, you've got that as a huge safety net. And I also understand if you're a tourist there and you're a traveler during the 12-month stay, if you have an injury or illness and go to the emergency room, you don't have to pay for those costs as a visitor going to the emergency room. So, your healthcare in Albania is very, very low cost or inexpensive. I don't know where it's going to rank exactly on the charts for the world healthcare, but you know what? There's a lot of people that live in there a very long time, and you guys aren't looking at having to run back to the States or for any of your routine medical care. You're looking at basically in Albania or Europe, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, in my case, I'm sorry, Debbie.
Go ahead.
In my case, if I had if I want to do open heart surgery, yeah, I'd go back to the VA hospital, which in Indiana is a very good one. I might do that, but basically, we're here, and we don't have any plans coming to the United States. And also for your listeners, we're basically talking about Americans, right? As far as other nationals, the residency, they might get 1 or 3 years. But we get 5 years in the United States, and just because Albania is grateful for what the United States has done for them.
Yeah, there's definitely favoritism for Americans from Albania. We get the 12-month stay automatically as tourists, where other countries might be 90 days. So, we are definitely a favored class in Albania. So we have a lot of British, Canadians, Australians that are participating and listen to our program here. So you could probably get residency, but it's maybe a little bit more difficult, but it's probably still very easy for you to get to stay in Albania. However, it's Americans kind of a blessed class in Albania.
And we just talked about how in the very intro we said astronomically low cost of living. So let's go into that.
Yeah.
What it's costing in groceries. When we spoke earlier, just blew me away.
I would say for us anyway, it's about 200, sometimes maybe as much as 250 a month. And if we bought like the Albanians did, it would be less. You can do if you don't want to spend a whole lot of stuff on meat or whatever. If you're a vegetarian, your food costs will be really low.
And all the food is pretty much organic. They don't put much chemicals. Mostly the meat is without the chemicals. The cows are grass-fed.
What about you're going out and socializing when you're meeting up with friends? What kind of experiences do you have there? And what do you think that kind of averages out on a typical month?
It's according to where we want to eat, how much we're going to spend. If we just want to go to a place that's is like their equivalent of a fast food restaurant, we're going to pay for 2 people, maybe $500, like $5, let's just say. If we wanted to go per person, and if we wanted to go to a better restaurant, 10 to 11 for 2 people. No, we could do that. We could do $11. We just had something like soufflage, something like that. And then, but then you can, if you go to a more upscale place, of course, it could be like 10. It can be $15 to $20 or more for two people. Last month I spent probably about $100 because it was a birthday party. Okay, but usually somewhere probably less than 30.
Let's talk about gas because you have a car, and let's also talk about your utilities.
We spend probably 100 or so on utilities for electric, and it might go a little bit more than that, maybe 125, something like that. And I'm using dollars. And then for water, it's somewhere between $6 and $9. The reason why is because I irrigate my trees and things like that. And in as far as cylinder gas, that's what they have here. So I think I can put about $20 in my tank, and it'll last about 4 months. Doubt whether I pay as much as $50 a year for gas.
For the stove.
Yeah.
For the
And
propane.
I doubt it. Yeah.
What about cellular internet?
I spent I think it was $150 a year.
150 a
For
year
internet.
and that's for
Yes.
cellular and internet?
Yes. Oh, you mean for the phone service itself plus internet?
Mhm.
That would be,
About $12 a month for our
wait a minute,
phone.
you have a phone, I have a phone,
Yeah.
so combined, I think
24.
it's $27. So we're talking about 500, 600 a year.
Okay.
Everything.
That's excellent.
That's really really low compared to what Americans are paying at least.
So you're retired,
Yeah.
so you're on Social Security. I know there's going to be a lot of people wondering with your taxes. A lot of these countries tax worldwide income. Are you taxed on Social Security or
No,
anything else?
no, we're not. We're not taxed on Social Security. And our Social Security is a little bit under $1,500 a month, and we can live very well on it.
That is
Because we do.
wonderful.
And so with your car, if I recall correctly from our previous conversation, maybe $50 in gas for 2 months.
Well, just because we don't drive all the time. Now, if you drove all the time, if you're commuting from Tirana and Durres every day, let's say you're driving 50, 60 miles a day. Yeah, you're gonna not do it for 50 a month or
Now,
for 2 months.
I found it interesting that you talked about public transportation with us earlier, and you said you can get the bus
Yeah.
for 40 cents.
40
cents.
cents for a bus ride in Durres. And then to get to Tirana, as far as I remember, it was round trip 200.
200 lek, that's
200 lek is $2.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, so you may not even really need to have a car depending on where you live. And you said
That's right.
you said most of Durres is walkable, that you can walk to most places you want to be.
It's
I
a
can walk
walking.
to the beach from where I am.
Well, no, inside of Durres. We're
Oh, yeah.
outside of Durres. But if you live in Durres,
Yeah.
it's a real big walking city. People love to walk.
And they bicycles.
Yeah.
A lot of people just don't even bother with cars because they just say, well, I can just bike everywhere. And so we have friends that will bike from 6 and 7 miles away just to visit us.
And they've really done a beautiful thing on the beachfront where it's a good biking, walking path, paved. It's beautiful.
And
Very
I know
nice.
Durres has got a new yacht club coming in there as well, that they're building up a kind of a high-end fancy area to try to bring us those big dollars.
Wow.
It's under construction. I've seen it a few times. It's rather massive, and that's one of the things about Albania. They didn't have a whole lot of marinas to the same extent that you would find in other Mediterranean countries. So they're kind of wanting to get into that market, I guess, if you want to call it. And yes, it's going to be a big game changer. It's also going to have a lot of employment opportunities for people.
And we really like the fact that it's mostly a cash society, and you can use your credit card in the big grocery stores or in the big markets. but most places are mom and pops. And we love that because you really get to know people, you have conversations. And I've found that learning Albanian has been a wonderful thing for me, and it opens doors to people's hearts. They love
Oh,
it
yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm trying, and getting better and better. We have a little neighbor who comes over every day, and so I practice with him, and that's great, and it helps. So
Well, like yesterday, I wanted to get some vegetables, and so I don't, I'm not fluent in the language, but I was able to communicate in the limited amount of Albanian that I knew, and the people were asking me how many children I have, and I'm from America, wow, and all this stuff. Um, that's a good way to, if you want to not get the price for tourists. You know, if you start speaking the language to them, they go, "Oh." But yeah, there's some of that going on, and it's unfortunate, but you'd find it in any country, really. It's
most of the young people know English, and so the older generation, that not so much. And
Well,
so,
one thing to think about with Albania is it was really closed off until the 90s. It's like almost like the North Korea of Europe.
exactly
And
like,
they only
yeah,
had like 100 something cars in the entire country. They only had
yeah,
like a few
that's
dozen
right.
miles of paved road in the entire country until the 90s. So the
That's right.
world has changed so much for a lot of the older generation in Albania for them. Now all of a sudden they've got people with different languages in the country, and so English was not a something they grew up having to learn or wanting to learn. But the younger ones, yes, there's definitely more there that we experience that are younger
Absolutely.
that will speak English. But your Google Translate helps out a lot to be able to
yeah,
that to
Yeah.
show people what you want to communicate. But yeah, learning
Mhm.
some Albanian if you're going to live there is definitely going to be a door opener.
But it does seem like
Yeah.
Albania has offered you guys a wonderful life. And it really, I mean, with your Social Security being about, like you said, 1,500 a month, and yet you're still living very well. You own your home. So of course, if you had to rent, you would probably put on another 350 plus per month, I'm assuming,
probably.
for a
Yeah,
rental.
yeah,
Yeah.
for an apartment. Yeah,
Renting
yeah,
an apartment with what you're giving us as far as your expenses, and let's say it's a $400 a month rental, I mean, really under $1,000 a month, somebody could live in
Duress,
Durres
a
and
couple,
yeah,
there are a couple.
and yeah, but they
yeah,
have a place, so it
Yeah.
sounds like you're really under 600 a month at this point with internet and everything included and gas. So so depending on what somebody's budget is sitting at home, if you're sitting at home on Social Security as a single or a couple, you could probably find a nice quality of life in Albania, and the door seems to be pretty easy to open, especially if you're an American.
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
So, so we want to thank both
Yeah.
of you for
Yeah.
coming on and sharing your experiences, your expenses with us. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. As a reminder, Julie and I, we're traveling with our two dogs, trying to see what it's like to live in different countries. We're trying to share our experiences, expenses, as well as that of other expats around the world. And we hope you're going to join us. Don't forget to join our Facebook group, Expat Slow Travel Nomad Network by Warren and Julie. And of course, check out our website, warrenjulietravel.com. And until next time, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Ciao.